Hello. My name is ReAnna. I use she/they pronouns. With me, I have Axel
Hello, my name is Axel and I use they/them pronouns.
and Geography Challenges, aka GC.
Hi there, everyone. He, him for me. Great to see you all.
I'm going to be playing GeoGuessr, which is a Street View the game, also known as Google Maps the game. I will play 20 locations and find out exactly where they are. And I will move around to find information and stuff, and hopefully the commentators will tell you everything about every location, because I'm gonna try to shut up, because I will play very slowly if I talk. I think we can just get into it, really. So maybe that's what I do. The game will be hopefully fairly self-explanatory in terms of what the point is. Yes. So one thing actually that I should say, there is like a small possibility of certain locations being broken. Every location was handpicked in this map called the Community World by over 100 different players. So we know that every location should have enough information to find out exactly where it is. But there is always a possibility of Google kind of breaking stuff, which happens surprisingly frequently. So some rounds may not be possible. And if that happens, I'll just skip one and I'll do an extra round at the end to still get to 100k. But that's the plan. I'm just gonna start in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, so seems like we have Israel here for the first location, if I would have to guess, and generally speaking, a pretty good country for speedruns, which we can see now because their road numbering system is quite good. It basically works that the roads that have similar numbers are going to be in similar places. So in this location we have the 375, which is going to be around the other 300 roads.
Yeah, quite a regionally guessable country as well. So
yes,
when you spawn in, you should have a reasonable idea of where to scan.
And Anna going to go check the angle. When Anna looks down, what she's doing is that she's lining up the compass north, so that it completely mimics what is happening on the map. So when Anna lines up the compass north, as you can see on the road, they are exactly the same as on the map.
Very precise way of doing it. I mean,
Yes.
if you don't look down, you still get a rough idea of the road angle, but by looking down, you get a really accurate visual.
Normally I would have just immediately clicked that location and sent it, but since we're going for 100k and we really need to get all the points, I will double check everything.
Nice to ease into it with a nice 1 minute 12 round. That's very solid.
It's very solid, and it seems like we have a
French
round here, which is normally not all that great for speedrunning, but it's a very learnable country.
Yep.
What we mean by that is that phone codes in France are very good, and also the names of the regions in France is very good, because their road system, unlike the previous location, repeat in every province, the D roads, that is. So you can have a D3 road right around Paris that will also exist in Lyon.
And the reason... Sorry, carry on, Axel.
No, you go.
I was going to say, the reason that Anna zoomed into the southwestern part of the country is we had a phone code there. So very useful to learn the high-level phone codes in France, because 05 will put you in the southwest, 01 will put you in Paris, 02 will put you in the northwest, and so on.
Yes.
So quite noble towns here on the signs.
Yeah, and she has the two big places here that we can see on the green sign, Bergerac and Perguillot, and
Bergerac as
Where
well.
are the others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
that's-
know some of the phone numbers go actually very detailed in France, so I know them in the eastern half, but I don't know them in the western half. So otherwise, I would know
Another-
exactly where we are already.
Yeah. Another thing here, if you didn't have a phone number here and didn't recognize the town names, we've got a couple of towns there ending with AC, which is quite a common regional place name ending for the southwestern part of France. Quite a
Oh,
lot
I
of
have not.
quite a lot of tips in France to be had just by the style of town name. So places ending in AC are often around this kind of Dordogne and southwestern region.
Why is this the Marsan big, but not?
Yeah, so the fact it's in on a green sign there suggests it's a larger place, but not something I've heard of, and not something that seems to be appearing on the map.
And we do have a road number on this location, but yeah, again, they repeat in every region,
Every department, yeah.
every department, yeah.
Yeah.
But does seem to have it narrowed down.
It keeps blurring the.
Yeah, Google tends to do this with some street signs because they mistake them for something else, so they want to blur them for privacy reasons. And it does in fact have the town now, and just trying to find the road that we have a sign for there. Maybe does not show up, so I have to go check what is down the other side here.
Yeah. Interestingly, yeah, the roads off to the west are not appearing on the map. The road names aren't appearing on the map, so that's slightly frustrating, but still doable.
This must be this one, right? Yeah. Okay. Ooh, it's wrong, but it's 5K.
It's
We take it.
and we have some Jordan,
I'm gonna.
and we're going to try and no move 5K, as we call this, which means you don't move to find information, and you just because
It
of
might not be
the
this road.
information.
It might not be.
I would say there are certain countries that lend themselves to this approach. So countries where you're not likely to find great information, and also countries where the road network isn't so dense. You can kind of zoom in and look for roads that line up.
And we,
Yeah.
you go.
No, I mean an approach like this probably wouldn't be doable in, say, the Netherlands or somewhere with a dense road network, but somewhere like Jordan, it's a fairly good approach.
Yeah, and we say a few countries that are learnable in the GeoGuessr community, and Jordan is definitely one of those. Not only because they have a not very dense road network, but also because the coverage in the road network is also quite sparse.
Yeah, more likely to be the yellow roads on the map, which are main roads in this instance.
Yes.
There's always a chance it can be white roads too, but I would say, yeah, a few countries like this where you can just kind of line things up, Jordan being one of them. Libya maybe another.
Yeah, and Mongolia is a very learnable country.
Yeah.
For quite different reasons. In Mongolia, there is what is known as car meta, and we use car meta in GeoGuessr always, pretty much. For example, in this instance, just a black car with the yellow outer lines that we have means that no antenna means that we should be in Jordan, but in Mongolia it is much more in-depth, and you can not pinpoint your location, but get very, very close by seeing what the different gear, for example, that the driver used to get around and live and sleep.
Yeah. I mean, in Mongolia, basically, on the Google car, you can see more or less into the back of the pickup truck, and I mean, there are some bits of coverage where you have like a sleeping bag in the back, some bits where you have other things. So it's people have pieced that information together.
Which is very impressive. It seems to have found a road number, I believe.
Yeah, I already knew it
On that.
was the 35, but I don't see where on the 35 this is. Could be this. Okay.
So yeah, here, I assume Anna would be just kind of checking the curves and kind of trying to get an idea of the pattern of the bends in the road and trying to line that up with the map.
Yeah, and just making sure that it is what she thinks it is.
Yeah.
In this situation, and on a long road like this, bends are the best way to go about it.
Yeah, and another really useful thing in roads like this is trying to find a long straight stretch, because using that technique you mentioned earlier, Axel, about looking down at the ground to get the road angle, the longer and straighter the road, the easier it is to use that technique. So trying to find a nice straight stretch of road is ideal.
Anna has something that she thinks lines up. Gonna go check the turns as we mentioned earlier to make sure that it looks good and lining up the road, to just confirm basically, because the last thing you do is not to get the 5k.
Yeah.
I don't think that's it. Hang, where is this?
It's a very, very tough location for everyone watching. This is not
Is it
easy.
this? I think it has to be. That kind of doesn't line up. But the off-road is correct.
The
To the
off-road
north, I think it all makes sense. I went pretty far north here. That's good, okay. I'm gonna see if I can see those intersections at the next turn.
Yeah. Playing it safe. I think the fact that the angle at the start point looks a little bit off is probably making it worth it for Anna to just double check and get a little bit.
It says there's a police station in 1 kilometer.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That is the 5k.
Great job. Great job. Always.
Ooh, and we have
another bit of car meta, right?
Yeah, we have another bit of car meta. Probably one of the more famous quote-unquote car metas. We have the Kenya snorkel, which did stick around for what we call Generation 4 camera, which is another tool that GeoGuessr players use. Google has taken coverage in roughly 4 different camera generations, and Generation 4 being the newest of these. And the Generation 4 Africa update, as we call it, happened quite recently, and what we know as Kenya snorkel did stick around for that, which is something that does not happen, that the car meta transfers in every country.
Yeah. I like to think of it as a nice touch from Google, but we know that's not a little nod to the GeoGuessr community.
Seems to have an idea for this location as well.
Maybe it's that. Eagles Point. We do have the lake to the west, and we have a railway here. Just need to figure out the exact intersection.
Interesting. The strategy in some countries, Kenya being one of them, is that the map is not necessarily as reliable as it can be in other countries. So in certain countries, like the shape of a building or a certain business POI on the map would be very, very reliable. But in Kenya, not necessarily always the case. So you sometimes have to look for other things just to kind of make you feel 100% confident.
Maybe this is not the right road. Ooh, maybe it's this. Lake Elmenteta, I think I saw that on there.
Oh yeah, well remembered.
It should be this, I think.
Yeah, now comes one of the very hard things in GeoGuessr, which is trying to disambiguate the intersections, as we call it, which is just making sure that you click the right thing.
Yeah, especially in a country like Kenya, it's harder.
Yes.
I think, yeah, certain countries you just have the name of a shop or something, and that would give you almost 100% confidence. But it's a little bit trickier here.
It's really hard to tell what's an intersection here. I guess I should check if there's another road that way, more to the north. Maybe? Okay, here there is. Okay. So then I think it has to be this, even though we don't have the thing there. Wait. No, that doesn't line up either. No, it's definitely not. Oh my god. Ah, it's this. Yes, okay, okay. There's the Karura hardware.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and using the
And
POIs.
yes, okay, okay. And there's the country lodge. Okay, good. Oh, that almost went wrong. Oh, and we're back.
And we have another Israel location here.
Yeah.
It might be a Palestine follow car.
Yeah, it could be the Palestine follow car.
Interesting seed, this one, with three locations in Israel, Palestine, Jordan. Very kind of small area of the world to find 3 out of 5 locations in.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting about GeoGuessr, that every round and every game is just 5 not completely random street view images, but images that are picked from the map that you are playing. And it leads to seeds that are quite unbalanced in the location distribution.
Yep.
Even though the community does its absolute best to make sure that the distribution on the maps are that they relate well to how big countries are in real life and how much coverage they have.
For
these
couple
kilometer
of
markers.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
For people who've joined the stream, just wondering about the game mode here. So this is so Anna is trying to find the exact location for 20 Street View locations. So exact meaning within about 150 meters. So essentially moving to find info and then pinpointing down to the exact spot she started in.
And a bit more of a drive this time around. Gonna turn around and go check the other way. In general, going too far one way just makes you commit to that way when there could be information much closer in the other direction. It's a skill to just get a feel for what is the better way to move, but Anna making a very good play and deciding to go check the other, setting a checkpoint and then going to see what the other direction has to offer.
Yeah, there's a lot of decision making in GeoGuessr speedrunning. When to give up and go the other direction, when to look at the map versus when to look for more info. Not easy decisions to make. something you can only really get from experience.
Yeah, not really sure where... I think I could find this road by lining it up and scanning a bit, but it's... You would normally expect to find a road number pretty quickly in this area of the world.
There are pockets in Palestine with lower info, so rounds like this can happen, but I'm sure this will be fine.
You can see Anna zooming down the road to see if there is anything, any sign that she can see from where she is now. Which is another thing, just one of those decision-making things that make the difference in a 25k, or in this case 100,000 points runs.
I have a pretty long straight section, but it doesn't really jump out at me. I think I actually need to go for something concrete.
Fair enough. Good decision, I think. But yeah, this is showcasing some of the very difficult moving style locations you can get in GeoGuessr. This one and the Jordan location, really limited info.
We did have a sign there to something.
Yeah.
Presumably gonna drive to the intersection and see if there is a road number sign. And
hey, I had the right road.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I drove to. This was on the sign. So yeah, okay.
Really narrowing down now.
Should be this then.
And
I don't see the southern road, but
yeah, there would be a south road to the west.
I mean, the rest lines up. I don't see any other options. We have the curve. I think it has to be it. Okay, good.
nice.
Game 1. A little behind schedule, but
Hard locations.
Yes.
surely we can catch up in Thailand.
Surely. Thailand, one of those countries that is notoriously quite hard for GeoGuessr moving. There is a lot of information on main roads, mostly what we call waystones, which will have the road number on them. But sometimes it can be quite a while to drive to one of those main roads. And in general, unsurprisingly, not a lot of information will be in English in Thailand because, well, it's not a country that speaks English, and they also don't use the Latin script, which makes things quite
There's a perfect example. Yeah, perfect example on that sign there, just in the Thai script. And for that reason, I would, for moving, I think of Thailand as a specialist country where you really have to dive into detail to know what you're doing.
I have a road number here. We have the 1072, I believe. And Anna finding it very quickly. Very well done.
Great job.
And now comes the difficult task of disambiguating all of these intersections to where she could possibly have came from. She does have a long ridge to the west, but
we can see it. Yeah, so that's promising.
I'm gonna try and use one of the watts here, which are temples, I believe.
Looks good. So I must have come from here. I saw the school, I think.
Really good.
So I'm here.
Oh, really good. Really, really good.
I'm gonna check the angle once again.
That has to be it. Yes, good.
Wow.
Nice.
That is a very, very, very impressive
a lot
for Thailand.
A lot of people would have spent 10 minutes on that location. That was very impressive. Very, very impressive.
And we have a Peru location, I believe.
You can tell it's Peru by the comically tall town entry signs.
Yep, yeah, and these black and white posts on the vertical black and white striped posts as well. This one has a bit. So Peru varies hugely climate-wise. This one feels a little bit kind of greener. A lot of the coastal area is very dry.
Yes, we are indeed. And
let's just see if San Antonio jumps out. I'm not like, since it's a bit. This is a different San Antonio. Yeah, it should be either here or in here, like, you know, in one of the green areas.
Yeah, yeah. Based on the landscape, just slightly less mountainous, slightly more green.
yes,
On the footstep of the Amazon. On the doorstep of the Amazon. I mean.
yes, and in general, Latin American and South American countries are quite good for moving GeoGuessr. They tend to say not only the place name that you're in, but also the region that you are in on signs of stops, shops, and etc. Not every location will be like that, but as a general rule of thumb.
Yeah. Peru is a bit of a mixed bag with finding info. Sometimes you can get lucky, sometimes you can get unlucky. But a couple of small town names which might come in useful.
We do have a tuk-tuk, so it must be north.
Yeah.
That's slightly real.
Yeah,
I think especially in the Amazon you can always get tuk-tuks, I think.
Yeah.
Now that looks good.
Yeah,
this is one of those signs where we can see the region and the province.
Yeah.
So we are in the region of San Martin and in the province of De Picota. And province names tend to correspond quite well with place names.
Yeah. Should normally hope to find a. There's also a district as well there on the sign. So you'd think one of those should come up on the map as a town name or similar.
We would assume so.
Picota is here.
Yeah.
And this at Caspizapa, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
it should be enough.
Narrowing it down. Now, another one of those where you have to somehow disambiguate the intersection that you spawn on, and everything else can look similar.
That looks pretty good. Yeah, Nuevo Union was to the west. Okay, nice.
Great job. Great job. Somebody asking what 100k means. So in this context, 100k. So 25,000 points is a perfect game of GeoGuessr. That means pinpointing 5 locations exactly. So 100k is 4 lots of 25k. So 4 full seeds, 20 locations, and finding the exact spot in all of them.
And here we have a Japan round, which tends to be on the more difficult countries for moving, but recently, in the past half a year or so, Japan has been put a lot of work into by the GeoGuessr community, and a lot of what we call meta has been found, which is a lot of different things, but one of the better ones is looking at the electricity plates on the electrical poles to see what region you are in.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think it comes from Japan having different regional electricity companies that have their own little kind of nameplates on the electricity poles.
Yeah.
And then
I know a few of them. I'm not sure about this one, but I think it's this or like kind of the western half of Honshu
Yeah.
Island. I think this could be.
another tool that is quite powerful in Japan is what we call prefecture kanji, which is when we get to a road number, it will either be a guitar pick road, as we call them, which are the national roads, or a hexagonal road, which are the regional roads. And the regional roads will a lot of the time say what prefecture they are in kanji on the sign. And if you learn the kanji, just the letters that are on the sign, that helps a immense amount when it comes to pinpointing.
Yeah, because if you find one of those local road numbers and you don't know the kanji, the road number is essentially useless until you find a national road or something.
Yes, because
Else.
Japan is also one of those countries that repeat their regional road numbers. And we seem to have reached the end of coverage, which is quite unfortunate.
Yep.
I almost I set my checkpoint and went back to spawn just before I reached a bigger section of road again.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a bit hard to decide which way to go in this case. Japan is almost every road in Japan is street view coverage, so it's a lot of small roads. It can be really hard to decide where to go.
Yeah, Japan feels very luck-based in terms of coming across a bigger road.
Wait, now I'm back. Where did I go back? Oh my god. Oh, that's the city name. That's the Kyoto. Is it gonna be? It's Kyoto. Ooh, okay.
I'm finding the province there of not a road number, but the kanji on a sign.
Yeah.
Basically, one of those mirrors.
Very impressive.
Yes, very impressive.
That does help a bit, but we still need to figure out
anything that helps narrow it down at all.
Yeah.
And like Anna said, Japan has very, very dense coverage, so it can be quite tedious to get to a road number. Anna driving down the mountain here, which tends to be seen as the correct driving decision basically every time, because it's just quicker to go down the mountain and find something than it is to go over the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, most cities are built in valleys and not on top of mountains, for example, so you're more likely to find signs.
More like to find towns, big roads, etc. And there we go, that's something. So that's 31 in the hexagon, that's an example of a prefectural road, so it's a local road.
Yes, and we have the 162, which looks like a guitar pick, is a national road.
That's the 31. Oh, so it's actually like pretty downtown Kyoto.
Yes.
So I probably came from here, and then I'm in one of these U-turns. I think I might have clicked it already, unless it's the...
And gonna check the angles when she exits the turn to see that they are right.
This one, because when I went downhill, I got to a T-split here.
Yeah. And gonna check the angles of
Ultra
that as well,
triple checked. I mean,
sure.
that has to be it. Okay, good.
Nice. Very well done.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was one of the harder Japan locations, just because it took quite a while to get to info.
Yes. And we follow it up with another quite rural location in a country.
Yeah.
I can't
in the
say
Philippines, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have grey car. Yeah, this should be the Philippines.
Yes. And Philippines, one of the countries that absolutely loves putting everything you need to know about their place on every sign, and we do have one of those there. So we know we are on the island of Leyte, and we know that we are in the plains of San Isidro.
Very, very logical, because you get Leyte is the bigger province that if you're a moving player you should learn most of them, and then San Isidro's the kind of nearest big town, and then the barangay is the specific neighborhood. And
Yes.
in the Philippines, you often have to zoom in quite far to the map to find them. It's a bit fiddly.
And scanning for the 5K, which is a very viable strategy when you have this much information. Gonna go back to the checkpoint that she set on the presumably bigger main road to see what the intersection does.
So yeah, again, for people joining, this is GeoGuessr, and this style of play is trying to find the exact location of your start point on Street View, doing that for 20 locations in a row. Lining up something
That
here.
might be it.
Yeah.
I think that is it.
Does kind of bend.
That seems good. So then we started here. Right, if I went around the corner, we should see our motorbikes. Yes, yes. Okay.
Nice.
Anna's showing a skill here of remembering what the start point looked like, remembering the route you took. All very important for not having to spend too much time triple checking.
And
Putumayo.
Putumayo, did I?
So this is Colombia. Colombia being in Latin America, known for its yellow number plates, which you don't really find elsewhere.
yes. And
I've forgotten about Putumayo.
looking for the place name, which can be a viable, can be a very viable strategy when it is something that you think you have heard of or have heard of, or just feels big. And yeah, it's one of those things where feels is not the ideal strategy, but it is one of the things that you just learn to get good at when it comes to GeoGuessr. Just by playing a lot, and practicing a lot. And looking at a taxi here to try and read the number that is on the side, which will also say what town we are in.
Very interesting combination of factors that lead to side plates in Colombia being useful. So in Colombia, a lot of commercial vehicles have number plates on the side of the car as well as the front and back. But what that means is also the Street View algorithm doesn't really recognize it as a number plate as often because it's on the side of the car, and you can often read like a town name.
And does
Wait,
have...
yeah, Putumayo, that is a department, right?
Seems like a department and a town, and on the side of this truck, which is a very GeoGuessr thing to even look at.
There it is. Okay. I learned my departments a while ago, but I kind of forgot.
There's a road here with a
So we're here.
park next to it.
Okay. That's two.
And that
Halfway.
is the 50,000 point mark.
Really good.
And we have some United States of America, I believe.
Yeah. Interesting wide separation between the center road lines as well, which can sometimes
Yeah.
make you think of some areas.
The US is one of those countries that can involve a lot of driving before you get to a road number or anything useful. When you do get to a road number, they tend to have specific shields for each state, which can make them easier to differentiate. We also have no front plates in this location, which can mean a variety of things, but a lot of GeoGuessr players just learn what states in the US do and don't have front license plates.
Yeah, generally speaking, it tends to be more towards the southeast of the US where you don't require front plates. But then there are some exceptions, like things like Michigan.
Yes.
I don't know them all off by heart.
Yeah.
And also license plates in the US are state specific, but sadly with the way Google blurs them, they can be very hard to, well, not sadly, but they can be very hard to differentiate. There are a lot of ones that just look white and a lot of ones that just look white with a little bit of color.
Yeah.
But another thing that can be a clue for some.
Yeah. I could see that it was a little bit blue tinted, but I don't know my plates well enough
Yeah,
to actually know what that means.
Blue on one of them on the top or something like that. Yeah, US number plates. One of those. I think in theory it's great to know US plates, but there are just so many factors and so many complications to it. Obviously good to know, but you know, plates change over the years. Cars travel between states, etc.
And trying to look for any hint at all here to make the driving distance shorter.
The US is one of my weaker speedrun countries. It does feel like this, you know, it's kind of probably on the edge of a city or something, because, well, a bit outside a city, because it's quite organized and quite some family housing around.
Yep.
So there should be information soon. Yeah, it does seem like a slightly red dirt, like it's also kind of common in the south.
And then we have the
that house
Generation
disappears
1
in the old
camera,
coverage.
which is one of the worst things about GeoGuessr is when you get put into the Generation 1 camera, mostly just because it doesn't look very good and it is impossible to read anything at all once you get into it. Which is one of the great things about new coverage getting released in places where it could have been harder to read earlier, and then they update the camera gen, and then suddenly the country becomes a lot easier.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about new Bangladesh coverage is it's easier to try to read. I think the previous camera, a lot of angles you just couldn't quite make out the characters.
And
Possibly onto another road.
reached a bigger road.
That's a different
That's
license
a
plate.
very green license plate.
Where do I go? I wonder if there are any donations. That would be probably a good time right now.
Well, we
Where do we see?
have had a couple come in. There's an $11 donation from Barbara von Adstein with no comment, and $20 from Toro3317 saying, GeoGuessr is a big deal. Go Anna.
Thank you.
And the road turning into a dirt road there in the Generation 1 coverage is probably a good sign to turn the other way.
Yeah.
Tends to be a bad idea to drive down dirt roads unless you absolutely have to.
Yeah, 5 minutes in and I still don't know the state, so
Yeah,
that does happen in the US sometimes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that once you get to a bigger road, it will continue being hard. It's just, it often takes a while to drive to the information, sadly.
Quite agricultural here as well, which is interesting. Gives it a slightly different vibe to the feel of the location a couple of minutes ago.
Yes. And just going on a road trip for this one.
Yeah. If anyone wants to donate to fill our time a bit, that would be appreciated.
Oh, and we have
Come on.
Yeah.
sign that sadly has nothing really useful on it. Maybe reached a bigger road, and we do have a.
That's a Michigan
yeah.
one, I think, right?
Yeah. That's really interesting. That's really interesting.
We do
So yeah,
have
I
a road
mean,
number here, and Anna has narrowed it down very quickly and
Disco.
has the name of the place that we have entered.
Does the 91 reappear or? Camp Anna? I think I saw Sydney Road. No, Bricker Story.
so yeah, for people unaware, most US states have a unique state highway symbol when they show the road numbers. So this one is, yeah, the M there makes it a bit easier to remember for Michigan.
And like Anna said, it is possible that the road disappears and reappears somewhere else.
Yeah.
Ionia. Could be that it's merged with the 66 for a while.
Yeah.
Or we could be somewhere else around here.
So to reiterate, just because someone asked about looking down at the road, it's just because there is a compass in GeoGuessr, which you can see on the left-hand side, and by looking down, you get a really good visualization of the road angle compared to the map.
Yes, it mimics it completely. So you can find.
There's Fisk Road. That's. I saw Fisk Road. Did I see it here?
Just trying to make sense of the information right now. Not always the easiest task, and when things don't really make sense to what they should be, it can be very, very difficult.
I definitely saw Fisk Road. Where did it go? A tire shop, maybe that's findable. Yeah, it's just north-south.
Yeah, a lot of these grids can be very hard to really find anything in. And
yeah, there's not a lot you can do with locations like this. I mean, the fact it took 6 minutes to find info is just one of those things, and unless you were a dedicated US expert, there's nothing you can really do.
Belding East. There's Fisk Road. Okay. I think the only thing I can do now is go back to spawn, and we're probably in here.
And now comes the difficult task of pinpointing where you are inside of this maze.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the location at the start gave the impression of it being a lot hillier than it actually is. I think it's just this one little area that's a bit more
Is it
The
here?
roads are a bit curvier, it's a bit hillier.
And
I think that's it.
I'm gonna go check the angle of the turn to make sure that it is correct.
Welcome to Wabasis Creek.
And we're also
I mean-
finding the creek here to check
It
this.
has to be it, surely. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great
Okay.
job.
Ooh, took a while.
And
We've
here
got a
we
very
have
famous
the-
piece of meta. Go on, Axel.
Yeah, probably the piece of meta that is even more famous than the Kenya snorkel is the Ghana tape. It's probably everyone's first meta, and we actually have a pretty good sign here for Ghanaian standards.
Seeing
Um,
Kumasi, which is a very recognisable town for
Yes.
GeoGuessr players or anybody who knows about Ghana.
And Ghana tape
Small
also
pond.
one of those things that has been kind of tried to be solved in recent times, where they've looked at the different states of the Ghana tape while it has been driving up and down the country. So if you can learn that, it can be a very good clue as well.
I think it's this.
Found something, yeah.
It's weird because it says Mampong is on this road, so you have to kind of go there and then up. But I mean, technically that's
From
true.
my limited experience, signs in Ghana are often taken with a pinch of salt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very well played there.
Is this
Yeah, great.
Bolivia? Yes.
And we have a poster that is not very readable, sadly, which would have given probably all the information needed to 5K, but which would have been readable in other camera generations.
Yeah, this is hands down one of the most beautiful countries in the world, let alone in GeoGuessr. And correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, but Anna does like to play a bit of Bolivia. Particularly, is it just the two?
Yeah. Play the two road number 2 with Dusk then.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I'm fairly okay at Bolivia, but I don't immediately recognize this road. Bolivia is also one of those countries that only has a few roads with street view.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think with the amount of greenery, it's kind of, as you zoomed in, as you showed by zooming in, more likely to be the more sort of northern part of coverage, or kind of closer to La Paz and Titicaca potentially. But it doesn't really look like the Altiplano too much. Doesn't look like the flat area by Titicaca. So yeah, interesting.
Another one of those countries that we consider learnable just because of how little coverage there actually is. You can sit down and basically learn the extent of the coverage and all of the roads and the way it looks in different spots much easier than something like the United States.
Yeah. So generally, you'll know if you play Bolivia and GeoGuessr, you know that Sucre, Potosí are much kind of drier. La Paz and the Lake Titicaca appear to be very flat despite being high altitude.
And has some form of information here on this sign.
Yeah.
Tapacari.
Looking for that.
Yeah. So alcalde is a useful word to know in Spanish for Latin American countries because it basically means mayor. So then it'll be followed by a place name.
And has the same sign here.
No province name, sadly.
Tapacari.
Do we have time for a couple quick donations?
Absolutely.
All right. We have an anonymous $20 donation with no comment, and we have $23 from Pink Lemon 80, also with no comment. Thanks for the donations.
Thank you.
And just doing what we call scan here, just looking at every bit of the map and seeing if the Tapacari place name pops out. Can be very difficult, especially once more place names cover the screen, the more you zoom in. Very difficult to actually take in everything and make sure that you get a good look at everything that is on the map. One of those skills that is just mesmerizing when people do it well.
And some conflicting stuff here. One sign says this is kilometer 530 of the road, and the other says it's 60. Maybe that means that we're 60 from one end and 530 from the other end. This reminds me, like, it's maybe a bit too green, but because otherwise I would have said it's maybe the road to Potosi, but I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, as Axel was saying, scanning the map is a great skill, and have to be sure you can be at the wrong zoom level for an area and something, so you have to be very, very thorough, methodical about it.
Yeah, another one of those that is just a skill that you just have to practice over and over and over to make sure that you take in every bit of information. And when it depends from country to country, but in some countries so many place names show up at the same time that it is incredibly hard, and Bolivia is definitely one of those where it just at some point a crazy amount of place names all show at the same time, and it can be very hard to pick out the right one even when you have a narrowed down area.
Yeah, just overwhelms you with info. But perfectly pleasant travelling down this road. Very lovely scenery.
Yeah. Looking for probably one of those province names, I would have to imagine at this point, trying to narrow down the area to look for with the town name.
That's some soil.
And we do have a road number.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the first time ever I've seen a road number in Bolivia.
Yeah, I can't
Me
say
too,
it's something
honestly.
I've seen very often either.
Yeah.
But we do know that we are on the Bolivia 4 now. We have an
Yeah,
off-road
town
to
of
a
Yavini.
place.
Yeah, towns can be pretty fake in Bolivia. Like often,
Yeah.
they won't actually like show. Paracti. I was looking for Paracati, right? Maybe that's the same. I don't remember exactly. Gonna have to line it all up together because I don't think any of the places on the sign are real.
Was that an Ecuador bottle? I mean, obviously it's not Ecuador.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close enough. Similar enough.
I wonder if this could be right. Oops. I'm here? No, it's turning south.
Very difficult. Yeah, these roads are very fiddly with the place names not really appearing, all the curves and bends.
And a lot of POIs all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also don't know exactly what parts of the 4 have street view coverage.
Another sign here, trying to read it. Not readable, sadly.
Yeah, a little tougher than I would hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely a very hard location here. Place name not really showing up at all.
Surely the spawn thing is this intersection. It has to show up.
Yeah, I would think so.
Definitely believe so. Just looking for anything that makes sense on the road.
It does make a little bit of sense.
I go look for this tunnel
Checking.
that is supposed to be coming up as well, I presume. To see if it is there.
I think that's not quite right. Yeah, we're going like this already. And it has to turn back.
A very, very hard location here. Just because it does not correspond
there's
very
also
well
the-
to what is on the map.
There's also the possibility, technically, that the road number is wrong. But hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. There are some countries where the road numbers on the street we coverage are out of date, like Serbia.
Yes. Just trying-
Oh, that must be it.
And actually, just on the map there, I did see. I saw something else. I'll let you play. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, great. No,
Yeah,
perfect.
nice.
Yeah, as he was in there, I just saw Yavini as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And,
Wow. Well,
one of those place names that only shows as a POI,
Yeah.
and we
Here we
have
have-
a part of the world that can be very hard. We also have what is known as green blur, which is something that happens in Street View when Google just decided that they wanted the green to be more green some places, which only really happens in Estonia. And we have a big place name here, Tartu, to the
First guys
north,
here.
and a off-road to a town. Yeah, Kakva or something.
There's
along
another
those
Kakva
lines.
here. I think we're here then.
And
Ooh, yeah.
nice. Quite a
Amazing.
quick round.
Yeah, really quick.
That's
See, that's what
amazing.
happens. Yeah, in a well mapped country with info, Anna will just get sub 1
Make
minute every
quick
time.
work of it.
Yeah.
And another not so easy location here probably looks to be. I thought it was Brazil at first, but I am not so sure anymore. But very.
That looks
rural.
blue, right? Is it
Yeah.
Bolivia again?
We may be back in Bolivia already. Hopefully a quicker location. Seem to be in a bigger place.
Yeah,
Valle
there's
Grande.
language.
Do have a place name.
If it's Bolivia, then I would expect it to be around here. I think that's the
brown.
political flag of the...
Movimiento al Socialismo,
Yeah.
I think it is.
So that's definitely Bolivia.
Yes.
Valle Grande. I think I saw Avenida Bucara, so that's Yeah. That would be a road name.
Looking for the place name. Yes. Seems to be a decently sized place, so you would assume that it shows on the map, but as we've seen last time, the map cannot always be trusted
True.
when it comes to Bolivia.
Yeah. But yeah, as you said, it seems like a bigger town than most in the area, so you'd hope.
I think one of these things probably says the province.
Yeah.
Probably one of those things where Gen 4 would make that sign very, very readable, but in Gen 3 it can be near impossible to pick out the information of the signs. Trying to read
Sucre?
anything really.
Oh,
No, that's Road Sucre. Okay.
Yes. Kaya meaning road in Spanish.
In Latin America, they really like naming roads after cities, so it can be a little confusing
Yes.
sometimes.
and also in Latin America, some countries just have almost the same street names in every town. So like in
Yes.
Chile, every town will have like an O'Higgins or something.
Yeah. O'Higgins and Chile being named after a revolutionary, I believe.
Yeah, I think he was from an Irish background.
Irish ancestry, yeah. And just moving through the town of Valle Grande here.
Where else could it be?
Scanning the map again, hoping that Valle Grande will pop out at some point. But you can see how many place names are on the map. It can be extremely hard to pick out the right one.
Yeah, I kind of have to find my way outside of the city, probably.
Which is another thing that can be quite difficult in these Latin and South American cities and such, because they are often a myriad of just streets and off-roads and can be quite hard. And maybe finding a bigger road here.
To be a map there on that.
Yeah, map in the map game.
Yep.
Map in the map game, but okay, well, I mean, surely they'll write something along this main road. It actually looks quite like out here, maybe, because it's so green.
Yeah.
Somewhere along here, but so we're nearing estimate. Are we still ahead of schedule? So could I take like 15 minutes to do the final game, or?
We do have a good sign here, but very hard to read in Gen 3. Oh. Managing to get closer.
Sur de Bolivia.
Yeah.
Ah, this Santa Cruz department.
And found the department now just to find the town.
So lining up to see kind of which angle the road takes as you leave the town, I'm assuming.
Yes.
This is a bit... maybe... surely that would say...
So yeah, we can see here there's the road leading out of town to the northwest. So
Yeah.
That helps in terms of knowing. I mean, there are certain towns you wouldn't really look at because the roads exiting the towns wouldn't line up. So
Makes the
helps in its-
scanning a bit easier.
Ah, there. Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Okay.
Found it. All that matters.
As you can see, the road system in this town is quite the maze, so
Yeah.
quite difficult to exit the town. Going to line it up now. And one of those towns where every road does not have a name, which can make it a bit more difficult to pinpoint where exactly you are at.
Ah, hey, this would be a better way to go. So we're here, I think. Yeah, that would have been way faster.
Bend there. Oh, is that the edge of town on the other end?
Yeah, if I went south, okay. So
Very
that's 75k. How are we looking for time? Could I don't know if someone can DM one of the commentators about that. Because I need to do for the category a whole another game, but I'm already at estimate. So
Second.
if we have some
I'll message in the chat in a second.
yeah, well, let me know if I need to exit, then I will just continue with another Thailand. I think.
And another quite rural round here.
I mean, really dealing with some tricky locations. I mean, you did
Yeah.
amazingly with the last Thailand one. But I would say as the average 100k seed goes, you've dealt with some very, very tough ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
very.
It was pretty brave to go in without without vetted seeds. And also a slightly optimistic estimate. But yeah.
It seems to be a very rural round here.
It looks north at least.
I guess we can talk a little bit about Anna saying it looks north.
Yeah.
After playing GeoGuessr for a while, you just get what we refer to as a vibe guess, where the location feels like it should be in a certain area, and something that just comes over time, and something that's very impressive when it is on display.
Yep.
Like in this case, and it does seem like we have to brace for another
Yep.
another road trip here. Roads seems to just go for ages. But hopefully is a main road with a road number on it.
Yeah.
New Sky Education Center. Okay.
You have some text in Latin there, which is quite rare for Thailand, I would say. Sadly, the Thailand map is one of those just isn't very good. A lot of the place names that aren't the state capitals or province capitals do not show.
Yeah.
Which can make it a lot harder, to the point where people of the community, members of the community, have learned to read the Thai script, for example, which is very, very impressive and a very big undertaking and just a immense immense will and wanting to go faster. Did eventually hit another road here that could be bigger, but seems to just go as well in either direction. And looking for one of those waystones that we had in the earlier tie round that will say the road name on it. We do have one here on the 106. And the tie road numbers are not the best. They are somewhat logically grouped, but can be very sporadic at the same time. Does seem to have the road and a somewhat distinct angle of it.
I think I came from here.
Wow. Yeah.
This is probably the New Sky Education Center.
Looking good. Wow.
And just remembering where you came from is very, very impressive.
Looks to line up this section of the road.
And another location which is quite hard to tell exactly what intersection you are on without going very far to confirm. Does seem to be a little bend in the road here though, which could definitely help.
Good.
Great job. Great job. Wow. Really a masterclass in Thailand today, I would say.
Yeah,
both very impressive.
Pretty happy with how those went, yeah.
And presumably a Argentina around here, I would
looks
say.
like Arge, yeah. So
another country that's very big and has a lot of very straight roads, but
actually,
I think it's,
some white,
it's Uruguay. It's Uruguay.
white signposts there. So yeah, Argentina and Uruguay can be easy to confuse, but Uruguay uses
have
these
the
white signposts.
place name here, I believe.
Libertad is big, I think. There, yes.
There's the place name.
Great job.
And now to find the intersection that is spawn.
Bangko. Can you also see
Oh yeah.
if the road name is
road names.
It's blurred, yeah.
I think quite the GeoGuessr moment here.
Yeah, it looks like it rained maybe, then it blurs everything.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Really good.
And do we have the first Indonesia, perhaps?
An Indonesian highway?
Which can be a very tricky country, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of good clues.
I mean, this is a huge road for Indonesia. Huge.
Yeah, it definitely is. And one of the biggest clues for Indonesia being Kabupaten, which is similar to counties, I would say, in other countries, but there are a lot of them. And Kecamatan being more like communes or smaller things within counties.
Yeah.
And GeoGuessr players learn all 200 and something of them just to get
400,
faster.
yeah.
400 of them just to get faster in this one country.
Yeah.
It
Too
said
bad that
Copa.
that one sign did not have a Kabupaten name.
Yes.
It said Copa, so easy coastal Slovenia.
Ah, there we are. Do I remember
Kabupaten here?
Tangerang?
I think as well, worth mentioning, given how big the road is and given we had those terracotta tiled roofs, I think Java seems like a very sensible guess.
One of those smaller metas which can be
Alright, Tangerang was here.
quite useful. Seems to be quite downtown Jakarta in this location. On a bridge over a highway can be very hard to differentiate between them.
Yep.
Seems
There are a
checking
lot
the angle after
yeah.
the bridge.
Very clever move.
Make sure that you do not click the wrong one, which can be incredibly hard to do. One of those things where there are just so many things in Indonesia, so many labels, so many, in this case, bridges over the road, that finding the exact one is very, very difficult. Like everything we have seen today, very, very impressive.
Yeah.
I think it's this one.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
He's finding the
Really
correct
good.
one there. And we could be right back to Indonesia, I believe.
That looks like an Indo plate, yes.
Yeah.
It does. And the
Wait,
end
did I
of
go here?
coverage in that
Yes,
direction.
there.
So forced to take a different route here.
Been on good
Yeah.
pace in this game.
Really good pace.
Yes.
Asahan Tanjung Balai. I know that. That's up here.
Wow. Really,
Wow,
really good.
very, very impressive.
Great knowledge. Great knowledge.
So maybe I can just line this up. On second thought, maybe not.
And seeing again just how many roads exist in Indonesia can be incredibly hard to find the exact one that you are on. Often need to go find something that can be identifiable. We saw with the turns in the road after the bridge in the other location, and
Back on.
seemingly having a sign
So
here.
Asahan
Really-
is like the province around this place. Like it goes all the way to the west.
Anna knowing info like the Kabu pattern in Indonesia is it makes a huge difference. Like the difference between knowing that and not knowing it is potentially a huge amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
We actually have to be quite downtown if it's Ketsamatan here. Pelabuhan. That's just a word, I think. Surely the water is marked.
Yeah, and she's saying surely the water is marked here because water is one of the least trustworthy things I would say in GeoGuessr, especially in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Rivers and especially small streams are more likely than not to not show up.
I mean, it's really interesting exercise in, you know, trying to create a map that is essentially reflecting a point in time in places where rivers change and streams change and floodplains change.
Yeah.
How do you represent something with a kind of static image? It doesn't really work a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's some really interesting places in Cambodia and Bangladesh, for example, where there's a street view that was taken on a boat, but on the map it
Yeah.
just looks like land.
Yeah.
Of seasonal flooding.
Yeah.
Now, this Y split.
Finding a road here. I'm going to try and differentiate with the Y split in the road. One of those things where she's doing the same trick as with the other Indonesia locations, finding something that seems identifiable that you can find the exact location of. And in this case, it's the Y split, which tends to pop out much more than a road that just
It said something Bagan. Yeah, we're just in here.
and finding the Y split. And now to find the exact location in this somewhat mess of
Yeah.
roads.
I'm gonna say this is it. So that we can
And
Really
This
good.
is the final one of
well.
the
Yeah,
100k.
You're okay for time, by the way.
Okay,
But
good.
yeah, you're
And,
flying through this seed.
We end on a Switzerland,
Yeah.
which
Do you want to mention locam, Axel?
yeah. So locab is a phenomena that we have in GeoGuessr. It happens in Switzerland and Japan, and the reason for it is the privacy laws in those countries, and it can be quite hard to tell when you are starting out, but you are lower to the ground than at a average location in any other country outside of those. And in Generation 4 camera, you also get it in Sri Lanka, which we did not see today. Another country that loves putting the province and place name and the town and everything on a lot of signs, which I find to be the most fun GeoGuessr rounds.
Yeah.
We can narrow it down a little bit already because we had German language, so it won't be far west where they speak French, and it won't be far south where they speak Italian.
Yes. One of those things where, and yeah, Switzerland is one of the countries where the coverage is deleted in some parts, which sadly means that navigating through it, and especially towns, can be quite tricky because the Google car does not want to go where you want to go because it, quite frankly, cannot go there. And,
I don't know what is happening, but
right
I hope I'm
jumping around.
I hope I
Hopefully
didn't
still
turn around.
going in the direction that she wants to go.
Switzerland is often a very nice country to get, but
Yes.
with some
Can
of the
also
kind
be-
of urban-ish rounds, there's sometimes not a lot of information.
And perhaps can read the bus. Does say
Does say
Basel.
says Basel there, yeah.
which one of the more fun, one of the things that I find the most fun about GeoGuessr is getting clues in the most unlikely places, and in this case it's on a bus, which is always fun.
And yeah, I mean, you can make your own luck in that respect. Through experience, you can choose to zoom in on certain things, and it will reward you sometimes by giving you a little nugget of info.
Yeah, maybe we're just downtown
Seem
Basel.
to be somewhere in and or around Basel here.
I saw Bettingerstraße, so I'm wondering if Betting, like, it could be a place name. Could be a... I don't see it. I have to guess for somewhere in here. Ooh, a railway, that could be good.
We have a railway crossing here, which tends to be one of the easier things to scan for in GeoGuessr, just because it's easy to just follow along a railroad and find the correct intersection.
Yeah, normally reliable. They don't change too often. You can trust the angle. When it intersects with a road, it's a very kind of easy 5K spot.
This is not Basel. Adulam?
And lining up the angle when she crosses the railway here, just so it pops out more. And again, lining up means that the road in the location is the exact same as what it will look like on the map.
I just want to say while I can as well that the level of calm required to deal with some of the really tricky locations in this run in front of an audience is so impressive. Hard to convey just how impressive it is.
Yes,
To
very.
kind of keep composure through those tricky rounds.
So very high quality of play. It's incredibly impressive. A nice.
You're incredibly impressive. I even have trams. Surely this is actually... And it's pointing to betting. What?
Yeah,
We have to be just downtown.
Yeah. Pointing south-ish to betting.
One of those things where sometimes a big city just
That's
does
betting.
not feel
Oh,
like a big
it's in the
city at all.
pocket.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Now then we're almost there.
We are on the absolute home stretch at this point.
A Y split going east.
Yeah, one of those things where you want to look for a distinguishable piece of information that pops out from everything else. You also seem to have a big tower in this location, which is just cool.
I wonder if it's literally on the border because we can't go east. Which would be in Germany, which doesn't really have Street View.
It's in fact not.
We're here. Yes. On the other side of the thing. Okay. And that is gonna be time.
Well done.
Okay.
Very well done.
A little bit overestimate, but we had some pretty gnarly rounds in there.
Yes.
So that's the run.
Very nice.
Okay. I don't have anything else planned. I don't know if you still have more time to fill or if you can. It looks like someone is setting up.
Everyone make sure to give Anna a GG, so that was a great performance.
Waiting for instructions.
How do you feel, Anna? You must be pleased. I would be.
I'm pretty pleased. I'm also fried, so I told Fiesel beforehand, like if we have time left, I don't think I'll have the brain power to do to do a lot. But okay. Well, thanks everyone for checking out the run. If you want to play GeoGuessr, you can find it on the internet. There's a lot of different ways to play. This is one, but you can also play without moving, just trying to get close. You can play like just to get the country. They have like a dual game mode. It's pretty cool. And the community, I think, is very